Anybody else think it's really kind of crazy that all the same people who told all
So to add to what he's talking about there, I'm going to reiterate something I said in an earlier video. Wait, that video may not be up yet, but I said it in a video. When it comes to the COVID pandemic, what had happened? I think that more people should have just left work. And I know that it's like one of those things like in hindsight, right? Because we didn't know at the time. I kept a job I shouldn't have and put myself at personal risk for a job that did not care about me. And as I've talked about, I know I've talked about this before, I lost my job in a roundabout way because they had to be careful to make it look like it was not related to COVID. But like they didn't care about me. And as soon as it was clear for them to get rid of me, they got rid of me. But if this becomes a thing again, and spread this like wildfire, if you will, if the COVID thing becomes a big pandemic issue again, please, everybody, if you can, stop your job. Leave your job. I know that a lot of you don't have the money and you're worried about rent and stuff, but the system works both ways. If too many people can't pay rent, too many people aren't showing up to jobs, the system will grind to a halt. We slowed it. We slowed it when people were refusing to show up. When the work from home stuff came through and people refused to go in, we slowed it a little bit. But the problem is they knew they could squeeze at that point. But if the squeeze works in the reverse manner, we'll see that again. Because they had to come up with an excuse. Oh, people don't want to work. There were people I knew in the place that I worked that were working at minimum wage, which in Colorado is $13.65, I think, to wipe down surfaces to get rid of potential COVID. Think about that for a minute. Working minimum wage to put yourself at risk because you're a frontline worker. And all those people that complain about businesses being slow, for me, it's Dollar Tree here that is understaffed, the location I go to every now and again. I don't get impatient. I go in expecting there to be a wait. I plan accordingly. I carry... We don't have plastic bag use in Colorado anymore, so I have reusable bags, but I make sure to get ones big enough to hold all the stuff I'm going to have, and if carts are available, I use a cart so I can wait in line, because I'm not in that big of a hurry. When it comes to restaurants, if I'm getting food, I don't eat out as much these days, but if there's a wait, I don't get pissed off at the restaurant staff. I understand what's going on, but as I've said in other videos too, I've worked retail. I've worked in restaurants, so I know what the back end's like. I know what the struggle's like. And I've had friends that I've had to get onto, grown-ass adults, who decide it's their job to berate the staff because their food came back cold or something. It's like, read the room, dude. There's like 25 people here all ordering at the same time. They're having some issues. And not everybody has a perfect day. Accidents are going to happen, or things are not going to come out perfectly. Just say, hey, this isn't cooked all the way, send it back. Or, hey, I don't like the way it's done. Don't be rude about it. And don't sit there and yell at this clerk because they're moving slow. It's a full line. Read the room. As far as why nobody wants to work, that's easy. I'm trying to find work now. I've been unemployed for 2.5 years now. 2.5 years. And there are multiple reasons for that. One, I cannot survive on minimum wage or $16 an hour. It is hard enough to survive on $17 an hour or $18 an hour. But that's what jobs are paying. I am seeing listings for jobs as I look through that want you to have a bachelor's degree to work for $18 an hour. With a bachelor's degree. Who? You're going to get retirees is what you're going to get. People that already have their bachelor's and have no college debt. That's who you're going to get. And they're either not going to want to work the jobs or they're going to be really bad at them. Have you seen an elderly person working at the DMV? Have you seen an elderly person that does not know technology trying to be a bank teller? Because I have. It is awful and makes things worse. Nothing bad on them, but those jobs are not in their wheelhouse. And I am just so proud that they think they can take on the challenge. But the reality is they can't. They're too old to adapt to the system. They have to stop every 2 seconds to get technical help. I've had to support those people. They get rude when they don't understand something. Older generation, boomers especially, when they do not understand technology and you try to help them, they get insulted and they get aggressive and fighty. That's what they get. They get verbally abusive because they just think it should work, and them not knowing it is suddenly your fault. But as I've said before, I don't have a bachelor's. I made the decision years ago not to get one. I got certifications done to get work in IT because that's what companies wanted, was the certifications. And it wasn't worth it for me to go into debt $80,000 to get a bachelor's in IT so that I could be making $18 an hour now. I'm glad I didn't. I am glad I did not finish college, because it is insulting that I'd have college debt trying to pay it off on just above minimum wage. And keep in mind, when people were pushing for the $15 an hour minimum wage, that was years ago now. Then, as they've said, the new minimum is closer to 24 or 26 now. And that number is going to keep going up as costs keep going up. But no, nobody wants to work for nothing. And that's what they're expecting. That's what these businesses are expecting. So I think the only pushback we have at this point, as we've seen in other videos that have come out on this platform too, they want to make sure that we're suffering, is to make those businesses suffer, But I've got other videos coming out explaining some of the problems with the current economy and where things are going. And I'll be glad to explain more there. But yeah, the next COVID round that comes through, I hope that more of the people that are all for just crapping employees that don't want to get vaccinated, those people that were anti-vax, I hope more of those people pass, because things will improve because of that. And the pandemic needs to be more severe. It wasn't severe enough. We got lucky. I feel that the U.S. got lucky for one reason or the other, that it wasn't worse than it already was. And it was already pretty bad. People just don't see the numbers and scale. They didn't see it firsthand. They didn't understand that. I worked in a business that made really crappy decisions, put my life at risk, made dumb decisions, and there was nothing I could do about it. There was literally nothing I could do about it. I can't disclose some of the things I tried to do here for risk of still getting in trouble, and that's how bad it is. That is how bad it is. And I said in another video, if a law firm wanted to reach out to me about that and see what could be done, I'd be glad. But at this point, as far as I know, there is nothing I can do. And I know I'm not the only one in that situation. There are tons of others who feel screwed over, who actually got screwed over. People actually got sick and got fired from their job as a result. I mean, I saw that firsthand with at least 5 people that I had to work in the vicinity of where I was working. But yeah,